Hi, Jay Whitner here with Kickstarter Coaching and our Internet TV show Crowdfunding coverage. If you haven't seen our show before, we do a 15-minute recap of what happens in crowdfunding each month. Today we'll be talking about what happened in October of 2014. So there were 7 big campaigns in October, $340,000 or more. Collectively they brought in over $5 million. The big campaign was for the Scully, which was a cool motorcycle helmet that brought in $2.4 million. So we'll talk about those big campaigns, but first we're going to cover the news of what happened in October. Big news in Texas. Texas has green-lighted equity crowdfunding within Texas. I believe that's the 14th state to do so. So what that means is while we're waiting for the SEC to approve national level equity crowdfunding regulation, inside of Texas, you can do this right now. There's, as I said, 13 or so other states that already have this in place. Reddit has had a successful, well-regarded website for quite some time. They are opening up, or just recently opened up their own crowdfunding site called Reddit Made. So getting onto the bandwagon, we'll see how that unfolds over the next few months, but they definitely have a built-in audience for what they're doing. And another new crowdfunding site, this is equity crowdfunding for restaurants. And this is going to be called Equity Eats. So this is a way for people to invest in the restaurant business through crowdfunding. And presumably this is for accredited investors only. That's the basic pathway now for equity crowdfunding, is if you restrict yourself to accredited investors, people can do this now. So, 7 big campaigns in October. The size ranged from roughly $350,000 to about $2.4 million. The video length ranged from 0, one of these big campaigns actually did not have a video, up to the long campaign video was 4 minutes 15 seconds. The updates, everybody put forth a reasonable number of updates, and someone got carried away, 51 updates through the course of their campaign. The length of the campaigns range from 7, which is an incredibly short period of time for a campaign, up to 60 days. And the reward levels range from 0, no rewards, to 15 rewards, and we'll talk about that. So the first campaign, this was a campaign about 2 Canadian soldiers that were killed in the line of duty. And some people got together and they did various things to try to honor these soldiers and to do something special for their families. And this crowdfunding campaign was one of those things. The campaign broke all the rules. This campaign had no rewards. You don't get a t-shirt or anything for making a donation to this. Also, this campaign only ran for 7 days, which I'm not sure if I've heard of a campaign length of that duration before. At any rate, they raised $400,000 for the families of these fallen soldiers. So kudos to them, a neat idea and a different type of use for crowdfunding. Next campaign is the N2. And actually we have 2 very similar campaigns this month. What they're both about is pens that you draw on a piece of paper, but in the course of all your drawing it on paper, the pen digitally senses all of your pen movements, so you're effectively making a digital version at the same time. So your drawing is done on the piece of paper, and in the other room, it's on your iPad now. This campaign had a nice image-based rewards section that showed graphically the different rewards that you were going to get. They had engraved products, which is something you don't often see. It's a little bit extra trouble, frankly, to do that for all the rewards. And they also had a 50-pack of rewards, and we're seeing this more recently now that the Kickstarter no longer has a restriction on that, so people on both main platforms can offer 20 of a thing, 30 of a thing, 50 of a thing. So this is a way to sort of get maybe retailers to use your product, to show it in their store. They get a price break for the volume purchase. Next campaign is Matchstick. This is one of those things that you push into your TV so that while you're sitting there with your iPad, looking at pictures, or playing a game or whatever, the image is reflected on your TV set. The interesting thing here is they have a built-in audience. A lot of people like the Firefox browser, and this is based on that same sort of a layout that is the Firefox OS. So while there's other products like this, they have sort of a following that's built in. They have nice links to media coverage, which is a good way to sort of build in credibility into your campaign, that the media is paying attention to what you're doing. And they have a funny video. Funny videos are always good. If you're doing a campaign and you feel comfortable to deliver some humor in it, that can help you. Next campaign, Hullabaloo steampunk animated film. This campaign brought in almost $500,000. It was put together by an artist who's a Disney alum, and he built a big team of very experienced animators to work with him to make this film. And they had some cool rewards. They had some tutorials about you want to learn how to draw like cartoon figures, animated figures. One of the rewards was you can get a tutorial class, an online class with some of their artists that have great backgrounds. As I mentioned, they had a big experienced team, which lends good credibility and confidence in your campaign. And this is not just if you're an artist. Whatever your campaign is, if you could demonstrate that you have credibility, experience, and knowledge, you're going to be able to pull it off. That really helps. They had a pie chart of spending, where the money was going to go to. This is something that people like to see, that the size of the campaign is proportionate to the expenses of delivering on the rewards in the campaign itself. This next campaign is similar to one that we talked about earlier today. This is the Equal Smartpen. Again, a situation where you can draw something on a piece of paper, and that is mirrored then on your computer, on your iPad, whatever. An interesting idea, very similar, and running at the same time, basically, as that other campaign. These people had discounts for referrals. So again, if you share the campaign through the social media buttons on the platform, if one of the people you share it to buys it, you get a discount on your purchase. So this is good business for everybody. They had stretch goals in this campaign. They got one of the 4 goals they were working on. And they had nice, full data about the team that was working on their project. They actually had names and pictures of the team and email addresses for the team, which I don't recall seeing before. So if you had a question for, I don't know, the marketing guy or whatever your question might be directed to, you could actually see the name of a person and email address to contact them directly about their campaign. This next campaign I found very interesting, and I just want to say I don't really get this campaign, but what it was about is many years ago in New York, all the subway, mass transit in New York had this crazy hodgepodge of different signage. And so people took it upon themselves to really get their arms around that and make all the signage consistent. And long ago, 30 years ago or something, they made this big book about this is the official signage for New York. This campaign was to bring that book back, to republish the book, so that people could see exactly like the signage rules for New York, the subway, and all that. And I was surprised at the results, because I wasn't sure how many people would want to buy a book about New York signage, but over 6,000 copies of this book were sold. They brought in $800,000. So I thought that was really interesting. There was such a huge response for a campaign that when I first saw it, I really wondered if they were going to make it. And the big campaign of the month, the coolest motorcycle helmet ever. This is the Scully AR1. Amazing technology built into this helmet. You can go to this campaign and look at it more on your own. Heads-up display like in a fighter airplane, rear view camera so you can see behind you on a motorcycle, navigation instructions right into your helmet so you don't lose your way. Lots of cool tech in their campaign. They raised about $2.5 million with the campaign. Some of the things that they did is they had a mini quote area in the media section, so like you get like a sentence or so of what the review said. They had social media buttons for helping learn more about it and joining them on Facebook and all that kind of thing. They also had a 20-count distributor pack. So presumably this is like somebody who has a motorcycle dealership or something. They get a discount volume buy to buy 20 helmets. So that way they can offer it in their store. And a very interesting thing, probably will enhance motorcyclist safety. So that's a good thing. That's it for October of 2014. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in a month or so talking about what happens in November. So thanks for your time, and we'll see you then. Take care.